are the difference. Om Bhadram Karaniyadevaah Bhadram Pashyemapshabhiryajatra Sthirairangai Stushtuvarvamsastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Vyadayuho Swasti na Indro Vrittashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishvaveda Swasti nastakshorarishthaneni Swasti no brihaspati dadaho Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let's read the second chapter of Mandukya Upanishad with Shankaracharya. We are in the 32nd Karika. This verse number 32 is a very, very important verse in the entire Upanishadic literature and also a central verse in Mandukya Upanishad Karikas. Why is it so important? Because this is the mantra which tells Gaudapadacharya's conclusion about the world. And the conclusion about the witness consciousness, which is here. With reference to Turiya Atma, which is the Sakshi, the world which is experienced is an appearance, incidental appearance in consciousness. Whenever we study Upanishad, we must remember the Upanishad is trying to give us a vision for this entire universe. Universe consists of the consciousness, Atma, and the world which is Anatma. How do I discriminate between Atma and Anatma is the spiritual journey of a seeker. And this particular mantra says, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Turiyam Satyam Jagat Mithya. I am Satyam as Chaitanyam. Body, mind, world is Sat, Mithya. I am the observer consciousness. The world is observed, Mithya. And Paramarthika Satyam, the world is Vyavaharika Satyam. These are the conclusions of this one verse, which is the central vision of the entire Vedanta. If you understand this verse perfectly well, you will understand Bhagavad Gita, you will understand Brahma Sutra, you will understand Mandukya Upanishad, and all other Upanishads. So for those seekers who have been listening for the last 3-4 sessions on this particular verse, in case you want to get the vision of this mantra, revise these thoughts in your own free time, make your own conclusions, make your own questions. Let your own intellect tell you, yes, I accept. For the following reason, I do not accept for the following reason. This is an internal inquiry which each one has to do because the inquiry is very, very important. The entire Upanishadic vision consists of three portions: Shravana, Manana, Nididhyas. You must do the Manana portion to get the final benefit of moksha. Moksha is a very simple thing. It is not difficult. It is only a clear understanding of a prepared intellect. Your intellect should have Shraddha. It should have faith in the scriptures. The most important quality of an adhikar. The rest will fall. With this background, let us go to the portion of the 32nd mantra where we stopped last week. That is slide number 1773. We are going to start with this particular slide of Shankaracharya's commentary. What does Shankaracharya say? This is a very important paragraph. You read the paragraph and more. It refers to Karika No Upanishad, chapter 3, the 8th verse, 8th section, 8th verse, which talks about 23 objectives connected to Atma. Methodology used in this mantra by Shankaracharya is neti. But 4 times in Vedanta Upanishad, these two words will neti-neti. It's not this, it's not this. Why does Shankaracharya use this particular statement? Because he wants to reveal Atma, which is the awareness, which is the adhishtanam, which is what is called as I am. I am the body and mind experiencing the world is ahamkara. A thing by itself is Sakshi, subject. I am young, I am old is superimposition. So what we need to know, we have to remove all the things which is on the superimposition. Whether it is in the mind or whether it is the body, which I am identifying with. So the moment I identify with the body or mind, it is called as ahamkara. What about Atma? Shankaracharya says to the Purva opponent, Atma needs to be revealed by the Shastra. Even though Shastra, initially we tell a junior student that come to Shastra, it will reveal the Atma, but in the ultimate analysis, Shankaracharya says, by negating all the obstacles which are covering the Atma, which is an adhyasa, which is a covering, Atma will be known. Why he says this? Because Shastra is the revealer for dropping the word. It says you drop the word. That is the revealing portion. Shastra, Purva says Shastra can't reveal Atma. Which is correct. Shastra cannot reveal Atma is correct. Because it is saying neti-neti. By saying neti-neti, you are not this, you are not this, you are not young, you are not old, you are not born, you don't die. It negates all this. You don't have any change. All this it keeps on negating. What does the Shastra do there? Shastra reveals already self-evident Atma by negating. Shastra need not say fire is hot. It is already known. Texture share. Samsara, we all experience. You are a samsari. Shastra need not reveal that. Shastra says you are not a samsari. The definition of pramanam is anadigata, vadita, asandigda, tadbodhata vakyam. Keep this in mind or keep it in one of your important notes. What is a pramanam? Pramanam is that which will reveal something unique, which cannot be vadita, cannot negate. You cannot negate what a pramanam is revealing. For example, eyes are showing me the Surya Bhagavan. Pramanam cannot say that there is no Surya. No. Pramanam has to show something which is unique, which is not revealed by the other sense organs, and which cannot be negated by other sense organs because they don't have access to Atma. I am a man, I am a woman, I am happy, I am dull. These are all adjectives added to superimpositions. So there are so many misconceptions about myself. They are all obstacles to moksha. For in earlier portion, there are 16 attributes which we discussed for art. If you go back to your notes, you will find there. But Mandukya Upanishad says what? Stop all those attributes about yourself. They are, they are not the real you. That is why Mandukya Upanishad says, Na anta prajnam, na vaish prajnam. You're not the waker. You're not the dreamer. You're not the sleeper. You are Turiya Atma, which is ever there, self-evident Turiya Atma. Can I know this through karma? Or where suppose I pay $1 million? Can I know this Atma? Is there any न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागे नीके अमृतत्वमानुषुः. You cannot get this Atma by doing karma or through your children. Your son and daughter cannot help you to get the knowledge of this Atma. By renunciation alone, mental renunciation, you can attain immortality. Kaivalya Upanishad. Anena swarupene avasthane. In all our experiences, this Atma is always there. But it is nirguna Brahma Swarupam. It is without any gunas. We have got always two natures, saguna, nirguna. There is no sagunam without nirguna. Nirgunam alone is there. That is what the Upanishad is revealing to us. Nirvana Shatkam says, Name dvesha ragau, name lobha mohau, mado naiva me naiva matsarya bhava, na dharmo na charto na kamo na mokshaha, chidananda rupaha, shivoham, shivoham. Beautiful verse. Very good for meditation. I have conducted meditation of all these Nirvana Shatkam mantras. You just have to sit in meditation and let the meaning of these mantras rotate in your mind. I don't have any likes or dislikes because I am Sakshi, I am Turiya Atma. I don't have any wealth to acquire. I don't have any duty to perform. I here stands for Sakshi, which is always Akarta. So, what is the job of Shastram then? The job of Shastram is not to give moksha to me, it is only to remove or knock off the obstacle, misconceptions in my intellect, which is giving me all the wrong ideas projected by the mind. My real nature is Sakshi. It cannot be projected because it is self evident. Always it is Nirvikara Sarupa. Mind is Savikara. Mind is projecting because I don't know that Atma. Ignorance of the Atma is the cause for projection of wrong ideas about the Atma. Ignorance of the rope is the cause for the projection of rope snake. So Shastra tells me I am not dukhi, I am not sukhi, I am not dukhi, I am always pure Atma. Suppose you have a thorn in your leg. You're walking on the in the forest without any chappals, without any footwear, and you have a thorn in your leg, and you don't have a pin or something to remove the thorn. What will you do? You will take another thorn to remove the thorn from your leg. After removing the thorn from your leg, you throw away the other thorn. Similarly, Shastra you use to show your self-evident Atma. After negating, Shastra withdraws. I am not happy, I am not unhappy. I am Turiya Atma. Happy and unhappy is a vritti. It's a thought in my mind depending on the conditions outside. But Atma is unconditional. So, this is how I have to analyze this mantra. This is the topic number 373, which is Shankaracharya's commentary. The next portion of the commentary, Shankaracharya writes commentary after commentary for this verse. Amazing. Because he is drilling the point that adhyasa is the problem for samsara, which is his pet topic in all the Upanishads. And it is the same pet topic he introduces the Brahma Sutra also. Adhyasa, adhyasa, adhyasa. If you don't understand adhyasa, please ask me the question in the chat box. I will try to explain to you the adhyasa and what is adhishthanam. Rope snake is adhyasa, rope is adhishthanam. The three avasthas are adhyasa, turiyam is adhishthanam. Gold is adhishthanam, ring, bangle, chain is adhyasa. Dream is adhyasa, waker is adhishthanam. Waker is adhyasa, turiyam is adhishthanam. I hope you're all getting the point. So neti-neti comes in second chapter, third section, sixth verse. It comes in three, four times in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. In this mantra of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 388, 23 adjectives are negated, which is superimposed on Atma. Atma is neither gross nor subtle. It is neither short. There is no short Atma and long Atma. That Atma doesn't have a color. Atma doesn't have a shadow or darkness. It doesn't have any of the Panchabhutas in it. It doesn't have the eyes or the ears or the mind or the intellect. You cannot say Atma is interior, Atma is exterior. All these are all with reference to the body. So Nirguna Atma is the ultimate teaching. What does Visishta Advaitin say? He says Nirgunam is also a guna of Atma. Because he uses some of the Bhagavad Gita verses and he says that Nirgunam is also an tribute of, but that is not true. Nirgunam is always Nirgunam. It is Atma doesn't have attribute at all. Atma does not have attribute at all. Nirgunam is with reference to the Sagunam which we are used to. Lalita Sahasranamam, a very, very important chanting, which many of the ladies they chant almost daily. It has got a very beautiful verse. Nirlopa, Nirmala, Nitya, Nirakara, Nirakula, Nirguna, Nishkala, Shanta, Nishkama, Nirupaplava. All these are describing. See, Lalita Sahasranamam, Vishnu Sahasranamam also deal with the same Atma. Only thing is they give 1,000 names for Vishnu. But these names are Mithya, but without that Satyam Vishnu, which is Nirgunam, there cannot be a Mithya. Similarly, Lalita Sahasranamam is also names. Sahasranamam, 1,000 names. For that, Nirguna Vastu. In Lalita Sahasranam, what does it say? It is free from all affections of external contact because it is asangam. Nirlepa. Nirlepa means asangoham. It is always free from impurities. Nirmalam. Malam is impurity. Nirbalam means no impurity. Shuddham. Which is eternal. It is not anityam. It is not ephemeral. Nirakaraha, which is not limited by any form. It doesn't have modifications. It is never agitated like the mind. And Atma is Gunatitaha, 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is beyond Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. When we say beyond means what? It's Nirgunam. Which is Nishkalaha. Nishkalaha. We are talking about Shodashakala in the Prashno Upanishad. Ultimately, what is the nature of Atma? Nishkala. Shodashakala is a superimposition. For us to understand Mithya and Satya. This Atma is ever Shanta. Because it is free from desires. It is the desire which causes Shanti in the mind. Every time you get a desire, your peace is gone. And it is free from afflictions of disease, decay, death. That is the nature of Atma, which all the Upanishads they reveal. Suppose the rope is evident. It is bright sunlight and you can see the rope. There is no reaction. You know it is a rope. But suppose it is evening time, dusk time, you see a rope, it is not very bright. At that time, you may mistake it. So similarly, if Nirguna Atma is known as my nature, and you are able to understand the nature very clearly, then what happens? This nature need not be revealed by Shastra. In this whole portion, Shankaracharya repeats that Atma need not be revealed because it is self-evident. Atma is abhokta. Dukhitvam, bhoktrutvam is not my real nature. Enjoyership is not my real nature. Whenever I have some things, I enjoy. A good dish, I enjoy. But that is not my main nature. My main nature is what? Self-evident consciousness. Manushyatvam is not my nature. Because where is this Manushyatvam in the sleep state? I exist not as a male or a female, I exist as consciousness. See how beautifully Shankaracharya explains the nature of Atma step by step so that we are able to also understand our own nature by studying this Bashyam. The next slide is on revision. The Karika which we are doing is the 32nd Karika. Na nirodho na chotputtir na baddho na sarakaha. This is the Karika we are doing. Shankaracharya has quoted this mantra, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which talks about 24 adjectives negating Atma. Purva Pakshi comes back again and he asks the question, how can a pramana reveal Atma? This is the Purva Pakshi's question. Shankaracharya's answer is, Shruti does not reveal the Adhisthana Atma because Atma is self-evident. These are all revision portions. In Atma Bodha, there is an example given there. Kataka seed, suppose you have a dirty pot with a lot of particles floating on the water. And you put, what Shankaracharya uses there is, suppose you put a Kataka seed, then automatically the Kataka seed will take all the impurities down and it will give you the pure water at the top. So similarly, as soon as you eliminate the Anatma portion, the Atma portion which was always there, which was always bright, gets revealed. And that is what is the job of a Upanishad. Waker, dreamer, sleeper is not inherent in Turiyam I. So all of us must understand there is a Ahamkara I and there is a Turiyam I in this body. Upanishad, all of us, we know the Ahamkara, which is the waker, dreamer and sleeper. That is called as Aham. Consciousness is Turiyam I. All our study is to reveal the Turiyam I. Our inherent nature is Turiyam. Incidental nature is waker, dreamer, sleep. What is the intrinsic nature of water? Not the heat. Heat is incident. The heat in the water is incident. You boil the water, it becomes hot. Sometimes it will become cold because it is not its intrinsic power. Similarly, our own waker food, dreamer food, sleeper food, these three statuses are coming and going, but it is not our real nature. So the aim of the Shastra is to negate the superimposed attributes and Atma will reveal because it is self-evident. This particular point number 15, keep it in mind all the time because if you want to know the real Atma, you don't have to do anything. Your effort is only to drop the waker and the dreamer and the sleeper. Automatically, the Surya Atma will shine for you, and you will say, "That is my real nature." It is a very, very simple process. It has to be understood from the Veda, the Upanishads. So I has got with attributes, and I is also there without attributes. A with attributes is called as Jiva. Without attributes is called as Parama. A with attributes is what the Ajnani thinks he is. A without the attributes is what a Jnani thinks he is. So Shastra reveals the attribute-less I. Shastra actually does the job of negation only. That is Shankaracharya's prime message in this 30-second cut. With this, we complete the ninth volume of Mandukya Upanishad, which is 1,800 slides. Now, next we are going to enter the 10th volume. The 10th volume of notes has got the second chapter, verse number 33 to 38. This one volume will cover the balance of the 6 verses which are pending to be covered in the second chapter. The second chapter is a very, very important chapter for understanding Mandukya. We have covered almost the full portion. We are going to end in this last volume. This second chapter is called as Vaithatya Prakarana. Vaithatya means falsification of the world and revelation of our own nature. The next verse, Shankaracharya says, whatever we have explained in the 32nd verse, we're going to re-explain and going to elaborate a little bit more. And Upanishad is also the Karika, the next Karika written by Acharya, is an extension of the 32nd verse. It is explaining the Nitya form of the word. That is what is the introduction portion. Now let us just chant the mantra. That is 33rd Karika.
भावैरसद्भिरेवायम् भावैरसद्भिरेवायम् अद्वयेन च कल्पितः अद्वयेन च कल्पितः भावा अप्यद्वयेनैव भावा अप्यद्वयेनैव तस्माद् अद्वयता शिवा तस्माद् अद्वयता शिवा.
Here, Acharya says, seeing objects unclear compared to the art. Now, the meaning is Anatma appears. Therefore, we say it is Advaitam. There is non-duality. Please tell us what the Atma is to it. The Vyavapaitam is to it. The Paramatma, there is no duality. There is Advaitam on the whole. So Shankaracharya slowly starts commenting on the Advaita portion because the next chapter, chapter number 3 is Advaita chapter, which will say Dvaita Abhava. Dvaitam is Mithya, Dvaitam is Satya. Advaita Prakaranam is the third chapter. But from now on, in 33rd verse onwards, he starts building up for the next chapter and he gives us how to approach Advaita. Don't put Advaitam in the remaining in the Vyavaharika world. Vyavaharika world, transactional world is always Dvaitam. Only when you go to the higher PM level, you can say it is. Only from that point of view, you can say there is no Srishti, there is no Sthiti, there is no Rayaha, spiritual. There is no Mokshu, there is no Sadhaka, there is no Mukta Purusha. There was no Bandha Purusha. It was only a mistake in the intellect. So, Jnani's Drishti is he is ignorant. A Jnani Drishti is he is a wise man who knows. Atma is Paramarthikam. Anatma is Vyavaharikam. There is Adhyasa in Vyavaharikam. There is no Adhyasa in. Without Adhyasa, it is called as Adhishtanam with reference to the universe which we are experiencing. Ultimately, Turiyam is neither Adhishtanam, neither it is Adhyasa. Technically, this is the way I have to understand. Both Adhyasa, Adhishtanam, Maya, Talvi. Born out of ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of the Turiya, which is Parama. This is the main topic he is discussing in Karika number 33. Adhyasa, Adhisthana. Again and again he will compare what is Adhyasa, what is Adhisthana. Adhyasa and Adhisthana both are Maya. Adhisthana is also a part Paramarthika and Adhyasa so is Paramarthika. Paramarthika means what? It is Maya Vidana. Means what? There is no Adhyasa, there is no Adhisthana, there is only a alone, which is Sakshi, which is my experience in the sleep state. I drop the sleep state, which is Tamoguna. I try to claim Turiya, which is Mandukya's revelation. The Pramana is to drop my sleep state, to drop the waking state, to drop the dream state. All these three states are Adhyasa. With reference to Adhyasa, we say that Turiyam is Adhishtanam, but factually speaking, Turiyam is neither Adhishtanam, neither it is Adhyasa, it is beyond everything. And there is only one Adhisthana, Advaita Atma, is the final refuge. And that is why we say it is Mangala Swarupa. It is Shiva Swarupa, spacious. It is divine. It is Shantam, Shivam, Advaita. We have to hold on to that for our security, peace, and happiness. We have to drop our Ahamkara life and keep on remembering I am the Sakshi Ma Turiya Ma, which is mentioned in the seventh mantra. So in Pranamandika Drishti, there is no Dvaitam, there is no Advaitam, there is no Adhishtanam. That is why it is called as it is beyond everything. Chaturtham Nyanti. This state of mind is called as the fourth state. Fourth with reference to the three states which I know, but ultimately fourth state alone is. If I know that is the only state, Brother like Upanishad says that there is nothing else except the Turiyam me. Why should I be afraid of anything in life? Knowing the Turiyam makes me abhayam. All the fear which I have is a projection of my mind alone. Whenever you have Dvaitam, there will be fear. Because I'm seeing myself and the world as two separate entities, there will always be fear. You'll always be praying to Ishvara, oh Lord, save me from my weakness. But a jnani is one who does not go to running to Ishvara all night because he knows Advaitam is the truth. Same message of Vedanta Upanishad is given in Taittiriya Upanishad also in this mantra. See, when we study Shankaracharya's commentary, these type of mantras, they add to our understanding. What is truth is? This is the beauty of studying Mandukya Upanishad. Because you get all these connected mantras. Upanishad wants to reveal Turiyam. Ultimately, what is the nature of the Turiyam comes about only when we refer to these other mantras. Taittiriya Upanishad, the second chapter, very beautiful section. And it says, Nirupte Anilayne Abhayam Pratishta Vindate Tathaso Abhayam Gato Bhavati. A person who knows this Brahman or Atma, Turiya Atma, he is fearless in life. And he's always happy. Why is he happy all the time? He knows my nature. He knows his nature as pure consciousness. He knows his nature as the Turiya Atma. Dvaitam and Dvaitam, we talk from the Vyavaharika level only. Samsara is a problem because we see Dvaitam. Therefore, we say there is Advaita. Moksha is a solution from Advaitam and Dvaitam. So that is the essence of this shloka. Now Shankaracharya expands in this shloka. Now, how does he expand? You see how beautifully he does. See, when you read these portions, till you have gone through my sessions, if you want to do a quick revision, you should go through these portions, at least this commentary portion, and see this line of thinking. You will get an idea. And then you will get a picture of the entire 38 verses in your own mind. You'll have a bird's eye view of the whole second chapter. So in this portion of the commentary, Shankaracharya says, suppose there is no or no one, then we will not say Dvaitam or Advaita. Suppose there was only Turiyam. Suppose my experience of only my sleep state, beyond my sleep state. Suppose I was experiencing only the Turiyam, then there is no word which will be coined as Dvaita or Advaita. Because I see the snake, I see a slip of paper, a water, or a pipe on the road. Dvaitam comes about in pratibhasika form. My mind projection. This rope is not rope. This rope is a stick, or it is a streak of water. So rope is the adhisthana for the rope snake only. Rope has no adhisthana status by itself. Turiyam by itself doesn't have a Adhishtanam status. Adhishtanam status comes only when there is Dvaitam. Dvaitam is Mithya, Advaitam is Satya. This is what Shankaracharya and Gaudapadacharya wants to convey in this 33rd month. So, one innocent rope is projected as Adhyasa and Adhishtanam. One innocent Atma is projected as Dvaitam and Advaitam. As upon the rope, I have superimposed a snake. Similarly, upon the Turiya Atma, I have imposed the body, mind, and the attributes of body, mind, which is called as Samsarga Adhyasa. Body, mind, Adhyasa is called as Tadatmaya Adhyasa. Attribute Adhyasa is called as Samsarga Adhyasa. So, without Adhyasa is my real nature. Advaitam and Adhishtanam are words which are coined by the individual mind because of Gyan. Tritiya Pada, Prathama Pada, Dvitiya Pada. We have seen three padas, and we say that the Tritiya Pada is the cause for the first two padas. Sleep state is the cause, waking and dream is the effect. But suppose you come to know Turiya Atma, then all the three padas have no meaning at all. As long as you don't see Turiyam, we talk about cause effect of the sleep state being the cause, the waking and the dream as the effect. But suppose you rise up to the level of Turiya, which is called as Paramarthikam, the word cause and effect have got no meaning. Adhyasa and Adhishtanam have got no meaning. Okay, so that was the last paragraph. The next paragraph of commentary. Shankaracharya says, Atma alone is the absolute reality. And Adhyasa and Adhishtanam are both imagined. See how deep his thought process is. Because he wants to reveal Turiyam, which is God, which is Paramarthikam. In all this analysis, my mind should be able to travel to a region of Nirguna Atma. That is the goal. All this dialogue which is happening, commentary which is happening, the end result is my mind should start getting the vision of Nirguna Atma. Why do Advaitins say Prapancha is Mithya, it is Adhyasa? Prapancha means the world which is made up of Panchabhutas. Why? Again, go back to our old answer, Drishyatva, Anityatva. Anitya means it is coming and going. Waking state comes, sleep state comes. Again, waking state comes, sleep state comes. In sleep state, I don't see the world. In the waking state, I don't know my nature. World is available only when the mind as an instrument is operational. Very important statement. Drishti, Srishti, Vada. For moksha, this Vada is very, very important. What is the Vada? As long, whenever I see the world, then only there is Srishti. And when do I see the world? When my mind is awake. When I don't see the world in the sleep state, The world doesn't exist. This is one theory. Mind sleeps, the world disappears. Mind plus consciousness is jiva. The consciousness is always there. Mind makes, mind disappears. Mind appears, world appears. Mind disappears, world disappears. I, the consciousness, jiva alone. Isn't it beautiful? Drishti, Shrishti, Vada. A lot of people, seekers, they love this Drishti, Shrishti, Vada. What is the other Vada? Shrishti, Drishti, Vada, which is opposite to Drishti, Shrishti. In Srishti Drishti, what happens? You say the world is always there. And I am seeing the world. In that case, moksha becomes more and more difficult. You have to analyze the Srishti, you have to analyze the Panchabhutas. The entire Veda is based on Srishti Drishti Vada. Through that Vada only, ultimately we say neti-neti to the Srishti, and we say the Drishti alone is Satya. These are the two very, very beautiful prakriyas, methodology of revealing moksha. Ultimately, we have to arrive at jiva is pure consciousness. If you can arrive at this in your own mind, you have got moksha. Means your mind has understood Mandukya Upanishad. From the standpoint of the waker alone, we can talk of the existence of the Jagrat world. From the standpoint of the dreamer, there is no Jagrat. From the standpoint of a sleeper, there is no Jagrat and there is no Swapna also. So Vedanta takes me to the timeless nature of my own self. There is a very fundamental argument which all seekers will bring up. And that argument is this. When world is not there in deep sleep state for me, in America, people are experiencing the world. In other parts and other continents, they are experiencing the world. So isn't that world there? Shankaracharya says, you have a beautiful question, very brilliant question. But tell me one thing. Are they experiencing the world with their mind, waking mind or not? Yes. If they are experiencing with their waking mind, it is also relative world only they are experiencing. When they go to sleep, they will also have no world. So timelessness is my real nature. Very difficult to believe. But if you have faith in the scriptures, you can easily say, I am the timeless Turiyam. I'm sure all of you who are listening to this Mandukya Upanishad very well understand their nature. While studying this Upanishad, I'm sure when you say, I experience time, that is not my real nature. When I don't experience time, that is my real nature. Just compare the two statements I have made and come to a conclusion who you are in your own mind. You don't have to tell this to a wife or a husband or a daughter or a son. You have to be convinced about your own nature. If you are convinced about your nature, you will be free because that is what Upanishad is supposed to give you that benefit. They will also get moksha if they study. The knowledge has to come in their own intellect. If my intellect gets this knowledge about this subtle creation, which depends on the mind, whereas I am independent, Turiyam, I can exist by myself without the world as I experience in my sleep state. World depends on the mental movement in Jagrat and Swapna, but I don't have any movement. I am the Turiya Atma. I am always the Sakshi. Atma can't be prachalitam. Anandagiri, a very beautiful commentator of Shankara Bhashyam, Shankaracharya's Bhashyam, another person has written a Bhashyam, which is Anandagiri, a brilliant scholar. In Sanskrit, he has written beautiful commentaries on all the Upanishads, Bhashyams of Shankaracharya. And he wrote a Bhashyam which is called as Mandukya Rahasyam. In deep sleep mind, there's no world. And that is what is called as Paramarthika Avastha. It is not the Vyavaharika Satyam, which is the sleep state. Jagrat Prapancha is not independently existing. Only when the mind is functioning, the Prapancha exists. You can try to experiment this yourself. In the waking state, my mind is awake. I experience the world, external world. In the sleep state, my mind is sleeping. I am calling it sleep state because it is a sleeping state of the mind, not sleeping state of me, the Turiya. So Mandukya Karikas take you to the Turiyam and drops you there. And that is what is called as moksha. So with that Turiyam standpoint, you can easily say Jagrat Prapancha is Mithya, exactly like the dream Prapancha is Mithya. So when you finally come to the end of this chapter, second chapter, what you will conclude is, I am Turiya Atma. Like as a waker, I experience the dream as Mithya. I have now understood I am Turiya Atma, ever free Atma. I am not the one which is bound by the body, which is the mind. I have gone beyond the mind to the Sakshi level. That Sakshi has no adhyasa. There is no adhishtanam. It is pure Sakshi alone. Vyavaharika Satyam and Vyavaharika Adhishtanam both are Maya Kalpitam. One pure consciousness, Turiyam, alone appears as these two. It may sound very, very conceptually, it may sound, for some of you, you may get a very vague glimpse of what we are studying. But that is the truth. As your mind keeps on thinking about this, your vision will become much more clearer and clearer and clearer. That is the way the study is. Initially, when the Guru teaches us first time, Adhyasa, Adhishtanam, all this, we understand, but it doesn't sink. Suppose you listen again and again in third chapter, in the fourth chapter, then these ideas, they become my own swarupa. Both Adhyasa and Adhishtanam, this is a revision portion. I will only spend a little bit of time. What is the common feature between Adhyasa and Adhishtanam? Both are Vyavaharikam. Adhisthana is always in relation to Adhyasa. They both go together. They are not Paramarthikam. This is the common feature. What is the uncommon feature? Adhyasa and Adhishtanam are two separate categories in the Vyavaharik. Adhyastha and Anadhyastha. Adhishtanam is Anadhyastha. But they are not the same in Vyavaharik. That is what I should understand. Uncommon feature between Advaitam and Dvaitam. What is Advaitam? It is Anadhyastha. Means there is no Adhyasa when we say Advaitam. Advaitam is auspicious. It is Shiva. Mangala Swarupa. What Advaitam? See, when I say Advaitam, you should remember Tuya. Pure consciousness, without the three states. Alone act. When I talk about Dvaitam, you should look at the waking and dream, which is Mithya, which is inauspicious, which is Amangalam, which is always has problems. You cannot escape from problems in Dvaita Prapancha. You will understand the Advaita Prapancha and you will know how to face the Dvaita Prapancha. It is like having a shock absorber in your car. Suppose there is no shock absorber, you will be up and down. There will be, if the roads are bad, you'll fall down. The roads are going up, again you'll fall down. So, shock absorber is this Turiyam knowledge. Once I have this Turiyam knowledge, Advaitam is Satyam, Dvaitam is Mithya. This point starts creeping into my mind. And slowly you understand the final picture of Turiyam Avastha. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha anandam brahmano vidvan na viveti kadachineti tasyesha eva sharira atma. Taittiriya Upanishad beautifully says, this Atma cannot be known by any word because it is Turiya. It is beyond everything in the world. We can call it Amatra and we can call it neti-neti. Aham swayam eva atma, aham brahma asmi. It appears as Dvaitam and Advaitam. That is why Atma is called as Vivarta Karanam. What is the meaning of Vivarta Karanam? In Sanskrit, Vivarta Karanam means changeless cause. It is always changeless, which is consciousness. Okay, so that is the last 379 commentary on the 33rd Karika. Next commentary by Shankaracharya. Atma has its own independent existence. Anatma has got dependent existence. Rope snake depends on the rope. Suppose there is no rope, there is no rope snake. Ultimately, Advaitam alone is auspicious. In the second chapter, we have done one verse, the 21st verse, and where we described all the different philosophers and who have got projections of different lokas, and they say that the lokas are real, devatas are real, because it is all projections. Entire Dvaita Prapancha is supported by Adhisthana Atma alone is the truth. Only Adhishtanam is my intrinsic nature. It is one without a second. Adhyasa is always superimposed on Adhisthana. Adhishtanam for the three states is this Turiyam, we say, but with a condition, as long as you are aware of the three states, it is the fourth state, but fourth state alone exists. That is why we call it Paramarthikam. Not a single iota of a drop of the Vyavaharika Avastha is there in Turiya. Adhisthana does not lose its existence because existence belongs to Turiya. Only the status of Adhisthana goes. Because as long as you're seeing the dream, you will say the waker is the Adhisthana. As long as you're seeing the waking state, you will say Turiyam is the Adhisthana. But Turiyam by itself is Karya Karana Vilakshana. So when we understand the seventh mantra with the help of Gaudapadacharya's Karika, then only we can understand our own nature as Shivaha. That is the conclusion which Shankaracharya makes. This knowing Adhishthanam, knowing Athyasa, and what lies beyond both of them, you get this knowledge when we go through these karikas. Just by reading, by reading those 12 mantras, you will not come to this beautiful conclusion which we come by studying this karika. So what Shankaracharya says is, the greatness of this Turiyam, which is in the Paramarthika plane, can be understood only through the study of the three padas. You study the waker, dreamer, and sleeper, which is the Adhyara portion, and then you negate them to come to the Turiya, the fourth. Ishvara is Mangala Swarupam as Adhishtanam for the waker and the dream. Waker and dream also is Ishvara only. But it is Amangala Swarupam. Mangala Swarupam is the Adhisthana. Beyond Mangalam and Amangala Swarupam, there is a Turiyam which is my real nature. If I know the roe, I will never get frightened of the snake. If I know Turiya Atma, I will never be bothered about the waker or the dreamer or the sleeper. So these two mantras we have seen before, Brahmanika Upanishad, how a jnani becomes fearless. These two mantras you should remember whenever you want to drop your fear. Some people come and tell me about fear. I say you study Atma Swarupa. Your fear will go away. Taittiriya Upanishad 273 Adrishya Anilile is also a very important mantra for losing the fear aspect. So deep sleep is a temporary Advaita. It is a sample experience of what? It is a sample for my moksha state, which is my real state, which is always I am that only. So ultimately, when you close your eyes in meditation, you don't have to do anything. Turiyam gets revealed and you are abiding in Turiyam, and that is it. This is the ultimate meditation. If your mind can keep quiet for 5 minutes, you are already in your Swarup. That Swarupam is Abhayam, it is Shivam, it is Advaitam. There is no Dvaitam at all in that state. The fourth pada doesn't have any Dvaita. And it is the real state. That is reality. The world is unreal. This is the Viveka which everybody should have. Every jnani has this Viveka. This Viveka Shakti comes because of our repeated listening to the scriptures. When you first time study Tattvabodha, you don't have Viveka. You only study, you have to have Viveka, you have to have Vairagyam, you have to have Shamadha Shatka Sampatti, you have to have Moksha. But when you come to Mandukya Karikas, you realize those steps are important, but ultimately my Swarupam, nobody can take it. And knowing that Swarupam, which is abaditam, unnegatable. And what is the pramanam for that? Shastra pramanam negates all my superimpositions for the self-evident Atma to reveal itself. So from the 32nd verse to the 38th verse, Acharyas, they tell us there is a lot of deep Advaita in these verses. If you can learn it by heart, or you can repeatedly study these 7 mantras. They are the crux of the second chapter. I am Turiya Atma. I am Shantaha. I am Shivaha. I am Advaita Swarupa. With this, I will stop today. Next week, we will do the 34th Karika. We have got 5 more Karikas left for this second chapter. And each of this 34th Karika has got about 33 slides, 35. These are all can be managed in one session, each Karika. In about 4 to 5 weeks, roughly, we will be able to finish this second chapter. Let me see. I will be having a break for about 2 or 3 weeks from the 17th of March. I will see if I can complete this portion, the second chapter, before that. Okay, with this, I close today's session on Mandukya Karika. Next week, we will start with the 381st topic, and it will be the 34th mantra. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudacchade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There are no questions in the chat box. So in case you need to ask any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask.
Yes, Shikati, we can.
Yeah, thank you, Shanta. Bolo, bye.
In the earlier study, you were saying that Pusha lives in the heart or in the mind. So, which is it in the mind and the heart, or in the heart itself?
What is there in the heart or mind? What is your main thing? What you want to ask?
Pusha,
Murcha.
the Brahman.
Okay. See, Brahman is neither in the heart, neither in the mind, but initially, what we have to understand is that Brahman or Ishvara, that Krishna, that Shiva, you should take it as if he is there in your heart. Inside your heart, there is a mind. Inside that mind, there is Lord Krishna, or that Brahman, or Lord Shiva. What Devata you pray to, initially you should say that Lord is there in my heart. That is how you should start.
Not in the mind.
The mind is in the heart. See, once you have come to your heart, then you say, in the heart is my mind. In my mind, that consciousness, that Lord is shining as Atma. That is why they show in the movies and all that, they show Lord and then they show the bright light. Say that is the nature of the Lord. So basically, to answer your question, you close your eyes and say, the Lord is with me in my own heart. He is there. And he is permanently there. Not that he is there today and not there tomorrow. That is how you should understand the Lord. He is always there. Anytime you are awake, anytime you are thinking, Lord is there. Good.
The second question is, Sikaji, this Kata Bhukta, I still don't understand. As you were saying, Brahma says, I'm not the doer.
See, what you should say is, normally in our waking state, in our normal life, we are the body, we are doing things in the world. But suppose you say, Lord is there in my body, Lord is not doing anything. He is only present. I am doing all the actions. I am the body which is doing all actions. Suppose I say the Lord is there in my heart, in this body. In this body, there are two entities. One is the Jiva, another is the Paramatma. Paramatma is not doing any activity. He is only a witness. He says, I am there with you, now you go. Now you go and do all your actions throughout the day. But throughout the day when you're doing the actions, remember that I am there in you. So always remember that Lord is with me and I am doing actions. What actions I will do? Good actions, the Lord will be happy. Therefore, what will happen? If I am a devotee of the Lord, I will always end up doing good actions.
Yeah, correct.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Baba. The key to meditation, space and silence. What is the Aitreya verse that indicates this was a great facility? Okay. Shamaji, basically, Shankaracharya in Aitreya Bashyam, in one of the Bashyams, in the third chapter, introduction of the third chapter, it is not there in the Upanishad. Upanishad doesn't say this. It is Shankaracharya who says this, and he says that for the mind, you are telling the mind that you are not the saguna. You are not what the mind is seeing all the time. The example which is given is, suppose you are climbing Mount Everest, 25,000 feet above the sea level. For a normal human being who is used to staying in the sea level, suddenly if he goes to the 25,000 feet and a helicopter drops him there on top of Mount Everest, his blood vessels will burst. He cannot. So similarly, the mind also, which is used to finite things, suddenly you tell the mind that you try to see the Nirvana Atma, it is not possible for the mind. That is why Panchakosha Viveka is done. In Panchakosha Viveka is also done in Kathopanishad. In Kathopanishad also, I'm sure all of you remember, in sense indriyas, mind, intellect, and Atma. So then we go from gross sense objects, sense organs, mind which controls the sense organs, then intellect which controls the mind, and then you say beyond the intellect is the Atma, which is the traveler. In the Panchakosha Viveka, in Taittiriya Upanishad, we start from the gross, Annamaya Kosha, then Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha. Slowly you tell the mind, can you see I'm not the body? Okay. Can you see I'm not the prana? Okay. Can you see that I'm not the thoughts in the mind? Okay. Can you see whether I'm the karta itself? No, I'm not that. So similar, for doing this Nirguna Atma, to understand the Nirguna Atma, Shankaracharya says, try to do meditation on space. Space is there, which accommodates everything, but it is invisible. Similarly, Atma is there. All the time it is there, but it is invisible. But space, I know it is there because I see the world in space. So when you get used to, the mind gets used to the space aspect, then you tell the mind, without the Atma, the light which illumines that mind, there is no mind at all, there is no space at all. This is a beautiful method for the mind to understand its nature is nirguna. Ultimate nature of the mind is nirguna.
Thank you,
Shama, do you have any questions? I've just.
Sorry, I did have questions, but your meditation is completely blown away. I'll have to think very hard of what questions, you know. I
Yes,
did have during the
yes.
process, but I am completely blown away.
Yeah, you're lost in Nirguna Atma because
It was so. I actually didn't want the meditation when you said, okay.
yeah. But these two are very powerful meditations, extremely powerful. Try it out on your own. Now that you have learned this meditation, try to do it on your own so that your own mind glides into the Atma.
What was beautiful is, if I can explain, is that it was the most healing. You know, like there was suddenly nothing existed of my past life or present life or whatever. Most healing. And I think it is to do with the, sorry, just two different headphones there. It was to do with the stillness part of it.
Yeah.
Because it's the language, you know, so much as I say I'm listening to your talks or reading or whatever, part of my mind is already doing kind of dialogue with whatever you're listening. So mind is never silent actually, never, at least in the Jagrata Avastha. So I think this is what it just completely, suddenly all the language, all the words vanished away. And I thought, my God, where am I? I don't know. So, but I can only, I don't know. I was in tears of joy, simply that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brahmanand kaisa hoga, wo mujhko aaj pata laga.
Very good. Excellent. I'm very, very happy, with your own, what you are telling me, I can understand the joy which is there in your heart, you know. Good. Thank you, Shama. Anybody else has a question? Anybody would like to comment on the silence meditation, like what Shama was saying. Anybody else experience something new today in meditation? Meditation is something which always you will require to make your mind get used to what you are learning. You see, all the time we are learning about Nirguna Atma. But what is this Nirguna? If I have to realize that, then these two meditations are very, very useful. You can practice this on your own. Like I said, silence is the substratum for all the words, the sounds. The sound is not possible without the substratum. Similarly, this whole world, which I am talking throughout the day, what I'm saying, I'm describing the word. But without that Atma, which is a substratum, there is no speech. Yeah, Shanta, go ahead.
I just wanted to share my experience, as Shamaji said, of meditation, which you asked, is when I do, I mean, not only today, but when I do this silent meditation, nothing exists around you. I mean, that is what you feel. Even your body is not there. I don't know what is there then. It's probably the Brahman which exists. But before you get to that state where nothing is experienceable in that silence, I go through that sort of vibration. I don't know what that is, but it's a very beautiful vibration you get. I experience it, and then I get into that nothingness. I don't know, nothing. I can't even feel the presence of my body. I don't know how to describe this. So is it? I sometimes I feel when I get the vibration, I know I'm crossing that state. It's like moving from knowing my body is there to a point where body's not there. Uh, I don't know if I'm making sense, but it's something that is what I've started experiencing in my silent meditations, and even today, as we were doing the meditation now, a few minutes ago, um, I felt the same till you actually said the Om. I had not come back to my body sort of sense.
Correct. You are lost in your own self.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, your experience and what is expected in that meditation is the same. See, what we say is that you will experience the silence.
Hmm.
You should know, but from the knowledge of the Upanishads, you should know that silence or that blankness which you experience at the end of your meditation, you start with the gross and ultimately you reach there. But when you reach there, you should know that that is the last thing I can experience.
Hmm.
Beyond that, there is nothing called as an experience because the mind is not there anymore. As long as the mind is there, world is there. When the mind is quieted, world is quiet.
Hmm.
We all go to sleep state. The state of meditation is not sleep state. It is a vibrant, dynamic state. Brahman.
Hmm. Yeah,
It
because
is
you're aware that
you're
something
totally
is, yeah.
yes. It is a dynamic state of pure consciousness.
Hmm.
And what you experience as blankness is only a kosha, Anandamaya kosha. Shankaracharya clearly says this. Whenever you experience blankness, he says, know that it is Anandamaya kosha. Who is witnessing that kosha? That is the subject I, which can never be objectified. And that subject I is the subject matter of all the Upanishads. If I can reach that subject, I can say I am that subject all throughout my life. I have escaped from the body and mind concept, which is only a concept in my mind that I was born, I am going through all this. It's all unjust.
Mm. Mm.
It is all jnana-adhyasa and artha-adhyasa. Artha means objectifies. The objects of the world, they come into the mind as artha-adhyasa. The thoughts in the mind which are coming by itself, it is jnana-adhyasa. Beyond this artha-adhyasa, jnana-adhyasa is my soul. That is my real nature. And that, keep practicing, you will really enjoy it, and you will understand the Veda much, much more clearer.
Mm.
See, the more you practice and the more, see, I've done almost 100 meditation sessions so far. I have realized that most of you are able to understand the Upanishads now much better than what you were 2 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know, your understanding capacity has grown by leaps and bounds.
Mm.
Because when you hear the Upanishads, you are able to go to the depth of that. See, today what I'm teaching is very, very deep. And what I've been teaching today is it's nothing which is more deeper in Vedanta than what is Adhyasa and what is this second chapter of Mandukya Upanishad. Nothing else. If you understand, if your mind is able to understand it, it shows that you're able to pick up the concepts which are built in the Advaita Vedanta, and you are about to understand your nature.
Mm.
Everything
You know,
else is an upadi. You know, the body is an upadi. It is an instrument. Mind is an upadi. It is an instrument.
Mm.
I will learn how to drop the upadi and see it.
Mm.
Shanta, thank you.
Yeah, no, I do agree because I think 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, when I was reading, I used to feel it's very superficial. I was not, I could sense myself that what I'm learning, I've not yet understood. I've not yet understood, But now when I listen to the talks, I go to more focused things. In the first, it was like very much like an overview. I was trying to understand, okay, what is this saying? When I did the Katha Upanishad or Taittiriya Upanishad, it was very much a superficial, I would say, overall view. But as we started going to the Bhashyam, I started focusing more on the depths of concepts and how things work. So that makes me already feel that yes, I have started getting a little more under the skin sort of things which are no longer superficial. So yeah, thank you very much for all your support on this. Dhanyavad.
Someday explain how we move in and out of the samsara world. Is it only through meditation? No, it is only through knowledge. Only by knowledge I can come into samsara and I can move out of samsara. Because knowledge tells me that the mind can go into any topic in the world. This is as manifestation. And the mind has the ability to unmanifest. Unmanifest means withdraw from the world. This ability of the mind's ability to manifest itself in any situation, analyze any situation to the best extent possible, and again withdraw. That will come. It is something which you learn as your knowledge of the Atma grows more and more. Your ability to understand your mind becomes much more, much more strong.
What I meant was, Shekhaji, whether the more when I can encourage myself through a sankalpa, a will, so instead of just being twice meditation, whenever an opportunity arises, I've got a little time. So I'm actually want to encourage in order to create the spiritual climate, isn't it? Like, I realize that on one hand, I study Vedanta and listen to talks and stuff. However, there are other competing things, which are doing completely the negative thing. So I'm just thinking to use time and space and, where at any, if I have a free this thing, whatever, like suppose traveling in a travel, air, long flight, which I have to do. I would, instead of watching the video film or whatever, I could actually use that time to do some more meditation. So that's what I meant. Create a spiritual climate for my mind. Because otherwise it does its monkey tricks. That's what I meant. That is sankalpa,
Yeah, the sankalpa is extremely important. Sankalpa is always done by the intellect. And the intellect controls the mind. Mind is samshayatmika. It is always wavering. And the mind is always controlling the sense organs. In the Ratha Kalpana, in the chariot example, Shankaracharya's Bashyam of the Ratha Kalpana is amazing. It's really amazing. He tells you so clearly how the mind works, how the intellect works, and how Atma is the seer of the intellect.
Which one is this?
The Ratha Kalpana, the second chapter, the chariot example, which is there in Karika Upanishad.
Uska Bashyam, acha.
Yeah, the Bashyam of that, you can read the Hindi version, which you have the books. That you have the books of the Shankara Bashyam from Gita Press, right?
I haven't got it, but I'll try and obtain it. I'm going to India, so
you can buy it. It's there in the Gita Press. Some people have bought it, and if you can buy it and read the commentary of that, of course, I'm writing the commentary myself now, but it'll come in about 2-3 months.
It'll be nice to understand the process of the mind, what tricks it is up to. So that'll be very helpful, I think. Because otherwise it's struggling hard.
Yeah, especially for you, that Ratha Kalpana, the second chapter of Karika Upanishad, Shankaracharya beautifully describes that. I'm writing notes for that now. It'll get typed and it'll be ready in about a month or two.
Thank you so much.
One volume of Karika Upanishad Bhashyam is already there on the website. The second volume is getting ready now. In the second volume, you will find the Ratha Kalpana. You'll find the chariot example, where the spiritual journey of a jiva is compared to a traveler in a chariot. The traveler is the jiva, then he is got a driver. Driver is the intellect.
Yeah. Buddhi.
You want any help?
Has got the reins. The mind is compared to the reins, that means the rope which holds the horses. So mind is the rope which holds the sense organs. The 5 sense organs are compared to the 5 horses for a chariot. If the mind can control, reins can control the horses, then the chariot will be in the right, will go to the destination. Suppose the reins are not under control, mind is not controlling the reins, is not controlling the sense organs properly, you will be lost in the world, which is exactly what you're saying.
So, in other words, there is this, the rider, the Purusha, the Atman, he just sitting quietly around, say. And so it is all the work has to be done with this charioteer, the Buddhi. Na?
So, Buddhi is always your charioteer. So always remember there is something called as Buddhi. The Buddhi should have the right knowledge. What is good for me? It is not good for me. What is a Shreya Marga? What is Preya Marga? What is popular? What is scripturally important? What is normally the mind will take you for a ride is what is called as prayers, which is pleasant part. Always you will see between the prayers, which is a pleasant path, and shreyas, which is which is what the spiritual path is,
So,
which
but
is
what I'm finding an analogy here is that there is this, the jnanam is the theory portion of it. But unless you meditate, you haven't actually done the practical, like how our normal science study is. You learn certain theories, but then you have to experiment with it. So go to the lab and do the practicals, isn't it? So to me, the meditation is the practical bit of it, so whatever you have learned, which is what you do in your class, isn't it? You do a complete theory, lecture, talk, and then you actually offer us the practical. Okay, Abhi, now do this experiment. You're almost telling us, do this experiment now, which is meditation. So this is the great takeaway point which I've got, that the buddhi, that's what the buddhi must do. It must study, it must learn, it must know anatma, atma principle and all of this, and, pura jiva ka, what is the state of the jiva. And on the other hand, not to forget the practical, the dhyanam part of it.
yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
You
thank
got
you
it,
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so with this, we close today. We'll continue next week. Thank you. Namaste.
Thanks a lot, Shekhar ji.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.